Rhea Morgan sat alone in the control room of Earth's deep space listening station, her eyes fixed on the scrolling lines of data. Each night, she and her small team monitored the quiet hum of space, searching for anything unusual. Tonight, the silence broke. A string of patterned pulses appeared on the screen, unlike any human transmission. Rhea's heart beat faster as she tapped commands into the console. She felt a thrill of excitement mixed with a touch of fear. This could be the discovery of a lifetime. She leaned closer to the speaker and adjusted the volume. The pulses came in repeating sequences, almost like a language. Rhea frowned. No known satellite or probe used such complex timing. She called over her colleague, technician Omar Vasquez. Omar rubbed his tired eyes, but sat beside her without a word. Together, they watched the data shift from noise into clear bursts of information. Rhea activated the station's most advanced translator. The AI called Ilias. Soft lights on the machine flickered as it processed the signal. Rhea felt a lump in her throat as she whispered, "Tell me you see it too." Omar touched her shoulder in silent support. Ilias's calm voice filled the room. "The structure of this message does not match any human protocol." A hush fell over the control room. Rhea exchanged a glance with Omar. If Ilias was right, they were listening to something or someone not from Earth. Rhea steadied her breath. She had trained for this moment, but training did not erase the surge of emotion she felt now. Part of her wanted to run away, but stronger than her fear was her curiosity. Rhea tapped another command. Ilias began to map the repeating patterns into symbols on a nearby monitor. Lines formed clusters that hinted at meaning a greeting, perhaps, followed by data. Omar whispered a greeting. Rhea nodded, feeling hope and wonder fill her chest. "Let it translate," she said softly, slowly. The machine's hum deepened. Rhea and Omar watched as the symbols transformed into simple frenetic sounds. Then, unexpectedly, a set of numbers appeared on the screen. Rhea's pulse quickened. The AI had found coordinates far beyond the Kuiper Belt. In a star system, 50 light-years from Earth, she could barely believe it. Omar leaned back, eyes wide. "Those coordinates. They mean they intended someone else," he said, voice trembling. Rhea's fingers hovered over the console. Somewhere in her mind, she knew politicians and military leaders would argue about risk. But at this moment, she felt certain that humanity had to know. She felt a fierce protectiveness for Earth, and a deep excitement at the thought of reaching out. Even if by accident, Rhea looked out the control room window at the dark sky. Thousands of stars blinked back at her. She imagined a distant world, where another species waited, unaware of human ears. In that moment, Rhea felt both small and immense small beneath the vast cosmos. Immense in her power to connect with the unknown. Back at the console, Ilias's voice broke the silence. "The message address does not include humans. It is directed to an alien recipient. However, the final segment appears as an invitation." Rhea's breath caught. An invitation meant for someone else, now open to humanity by chance. At Omar, whose eyes shone with the same wonder she felt, the station's alarms remained silent, but Rhea's mind raced. They had found something that could change everything. She pressed her hand to the console as if anchoring herself. "Prepare the full data package," she ordered, voice steady. "Send it to Earth Command." Rhea felt a mixture of dread and joy. They were standing at the edge of a new era. A message not meant for humans had found them anyway, and they had answered. On the main screen, the word flashed in glowing letters. Coordinates 5.127, 849. Rhea stared at it, knowing that in those numbers lay the path to a future no one had expected. A future that began because humans dared to listen. Asterisk. Rhea Morgan stood before a bank of screens in Earth Command's secure briefing room. A full data package she sent from the listening station glowed on the main display. Around her, experts in linguistics, astrophysics, and policy strode back and forth, anxiety playing across their faces. Rhea felt her heart pound as she watched analysts feed the alien signal into supercomputers. The hum of processors filled the air, and every few seconds, a A new line of decrypted text scrolled onto the screen. Each fragment brought them closer to understanding the messaging farther from the certainty they once had about their place in the universe. Dr. Helena Joe, leading xenolinguist, traced symbols on a holographic keypad. "These patterns repeat like a greeting ritual," she said softly. Her eyes shone with excitement. "We see structures similar to Calandra response on Earth, but more precise." Rhea took a steadying breath. It was the first human insight into an alien mind. Yet Helena shook her head. "We need time. Time to confirm what these symbols mean before we act." Rhea nodded, though inside she trembled with impatience. Humankind's chance to reach out should not wait. Meanwhile, across the globe, political leaders debated their next move. Broadcasts showed senators and diplomats arguing heatedly. Some spoke of opportunity, expanding humanity's horizons, forging alliances that would fuel science and culture. Others warned of danger, unknown intentions, potential traps, the risk of revealing Earth's secrets. Late into the night, the debates raged. Rhea listened to live feeds in her small quarters, feeling the weight of every word. She knew the stakes. One wrong decision, and the world could spiral into fear or worse. Conflict. Back at the lab, Dr. Arun Patel, chief astrophysicist, pointed to a simulation of the target star system. Worlds orbit a binary star. He explained, "One planet lies in the habitable zone. It must be where the beacons and structures exist." Rhea watched the simulations glow as it painted the sky. She imagined distant seas and forests under alien suns. She thought of the message's coordinates and felt a fierce connection. Humans had been drawn here, unintentionally invited. She believed they had to go, to learn, to grow. Rhea requested a seat on the emergency task force. The panel, skeptical, at first, peered at her resume years in communications, success with sensitivedata.com under pressure. She spoke plainly, voice firm yet earnest. "We have a rare chance. If we hesitate, someone else, another nation or group might take the lead, or we might destroy what we cannot yet understand." She paused, letting her words settle. "I've seen the data. I understand the unknown is daunting. But fear cannot drive our choices. Curiosity and hope must." The room fell silent. Senior diplomat nodded, and Rhea felt relief flood her chest. Soon, a small, interdisciplinary team formed. Rhea would lead communications. Helena would head translation. Arun would oversee navigation. A security expert, Captain Nia Singh, would ensure safety protocols. And 2 engineers would adapt a shuttle for reconnaissance. Each member carried their own hopes and doubts. In quiet moments, Rhea caught Helena sketching the signal's curves in a notebook. Arun scribbling orbital paths, Neha reviewing contingency plans. They shared nervous smiles, yet a bond grew. They were pioneers at the frontier of human history. As days turned into a blur of code and testing, Ilias, the station AI, refined its translation. Rhea watched one morning as Ilias projected a string of phonetic syllables. She and Helena leaned in. "Listen carefully," Helena whispered. The syllables formed a phrase that chilled Rhea's blood and warmed her soul at once. "Welcome, friends." Then a longer sequence followed in broken but unmistakably human English. "Do not fear. We share knowledge." The room erupted in astonished gasps. Humans hearing their own tongue in an alien signal, proof that someone out there studied. Earth's breath caught. She pressed a hand to her mouth, heart hammering. Omar's image flickered on a data monitor. He mouthed a silent cheer. Across continents, listeners must have felt the same rush. This was no cold, clinical puzzle. This was a personal outreach, a bridge built by hands unknown, reaching across light years straight to human hearts. Rhea turned to the assembled experts. Their eyes met hers, shining with wonder and hope. Together, they realized that the message's address had expanded. Humans were invited. And in that moment, humanity's future pivoted on one glorious, terrifying truth: someone, somewhere, had expected them all along. Rhea Morgan watched Voyager's sleek body glide into the black sky from the observation deck. The 2-year journey ahead felt impossibly long, but she believed every moment counted. Beside her, Omar Vasquez stood silent, pride and nerves mingling in his eyes. Rhea felt the weight of Earth's hopes on their unmanned probe. Voyager carried only sensors, translators, and a single olive branch, a recorded human greeting in multiple languages. Inside the control room, engineers monitored the ship's systems. Lights blinked in harmony with data streams, each pulse signaling. Another successful check. Malik Qureshi, the chief systems engineer, tapped at his console and announced, "All systems green. Thrusters nominal." His voice trembled slightly. Even routine confirmations felt like milestones. Rhea smiled at him. "Dud. Good work," she said gently. "Keep us steady." As Voyager's thrusters fired, the Earth Command staff leaned forward. The glow of rocket exhaust illuminated their faces. Outside the large viewport, the probe disappeared into the heavens. Rhea closed her eyes for a moment and whispered, "Safe travels." She felt a lump in her throat, a mix of pride, fear, and longing. Would Voyager reach the coordinates? Would it unlock the greeting crafted for others? 2 days later, Voyager passed the asteroid belt. Data filtered back in small packets, each confirming course and system health. Rhea greeted each update as if it were a personal letter. Omar played them back on the station's speakers. The soft, mechanical hum, the rhythmic heartbeat of life beyond Earth. At night, Rhea slept little. She dreamed of alien skies, seas reflecting twin stars, and a silent door waiting to open. Months passed. Voyager reached the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Its sensors began to detect the faint hum of the alien beacon. Engineers grew tense as signal strength climbed. Rhea gathered the team around a screen showing Voyager's live telemetry. "We're close," she said, voice steady. "Very close." Dr. Helena Joe, pacing behind her, nodded. Lena's usual calm gave way to excitement at her first chance to see an alien world, even through a probe's eyes. Then came the first anomaly. Voyager's instruments recorded a secondary signal, a response pattern layered over the original beacon. The control room buzzed with activity as data analysts compared waveforms. Omar pointed to the screen. "It's like a heartbeat," he said, soft, rhythmic. Rhea felt her chest tighten. This was more than passive reception. It was a welcome. Malik adjusted the probe's orientation, ensuring its antenna faced the source. At the command console, Rhea initiated the playback. A Voyager's greeting message. Her voice, calm yet charged with emotion, echoed through the room. "We come in peace. We seek friendship." She watched the monitors as the probe transmitted the greeting back to the beacon. A hush fell over the staff. Everyone held their breath. Then the response came. A rapid series of pulses forming a new pattern. Ilias sprang to life, translating in real time. Words formed slowly on the screen. "We hear you." The room erupted in cheers. Rhea pressed her hand to her mouth, tears pricking her eyes. She felt a surge of joy so strong it threatened to overwhelm her. Alina hugged her quietly, and Malik clasped Omar's shoulder. The humans had answered the beacon, and it had answered them back. But excitement gave way to urgency. Voyager was now detected by the beacon's welcome protocol, which began to adapt its energy field surrounding the probe with gentle pulses. Engineers cautioned that prolonged exposure could damage the probe's instruments. Rhea ordered a temporary withdrawal, back off 10,000 kilometers. "Let's preserve Voyager." As the probe retreated, telemetry confirmed all systems remained intact. In the days that followed, Voyager and the beacon entered a cautious dance. Each time the probe approached, the beacon responded with a new sequence. Each time it withdrew. The beacon's pulses faded like a heartbeat slowing. The cycle repeated, building trust. Rhea mapped the patterns with Helena's help, looking for a clear invitation. Finally, on the 10th approach, the beacon beamed a sequence that Ilias translated, "Follow the path. Gateway opens soon." The words sent a thrill through the control room. Malik punched the air. Omar laughed through tears. Rhea felt her heart swell. They had unlocked the alien instructions, a secret corridor through space. As Voyager plotted the beacon's pathway, Rhea addressed Earth Command on live feed. Her voice was calm, but her eyes shone. Voyager has exchanged messages. We have a path to follow. Soon, we will know who built this beacon and why they reached out. She paused, letting the gravity of her words settle. We stand at the threshold of the unknown. For the first time, we walk through together. That night, Rhea stood alone at the observation deck again. She stared at the stars. Now more than distant pinpoints, they were lanterns guiding humanity's way. Voyager was far ahead, carrying Earth's greeting toward an alien world and an undreamed future. Rhea closed her eyes and whispered into the silent cosmos, "Thank you." Rhea Morgan stood in the vast briefing hall of the United Nations Assembly, her heart pounding as she watched the gateway's energy readings project on the giant screen. The symbol of Earth's nations glowed behind her. All eyes were on her and on the shimmering image of the ring-shaped portal 50 light-years away. A hush fell as she stepped forward. In the past weeks, Rhea began, voice clear. We have decoded an alien beacon not meant for us, yet our probe Voyager answered anyway and was welcomed. She pointed to the live telemetry, showing the beacon's power surge. The audience shifted in their seats. Even hardened diplomats leaned forward. She paused. This gateway is now active. Its energy signature matches systems designed to support spacecraft transit. Face a choice, remain observers, or step through as explorers. Rhea could feel the weight of every nation's hopes and fears. The glow of the portal pulsed on the screen like a heartbeat calling to them. The assembly murmured. Ambassador Liu Chen of China rose first. "This is a historic opportunity," he said, voice firm. "For centuries, humans dreamed of other worlds. Now, the dream stands before us. We must send a mission, one focused on peace, science, and friendship." Applause rippled across the hall. Next, Ambassador Mara Ortega of Brazil cautioned, "We cannot underestimate unknown dangers. We need strict protocols, transparency among nations, and contingency plans for every outcome." But yes, this is our moment. Her calm confidence steered the debate toward cooperation rather than competition. Rhea watched as representatives from Africa, Europe, the Americas, and Asia joined in. They spoke of unity, of a mission representing all humanity. No one wanted a national flag planted alone among the stars. Instead, they envisioned a shared emblem, a circle of hands united above the gateway. After hours of debate, hushed anticipation filled the hall. When the count appeared on the screen, unanimous approval cheers erupted. Rhea closed her eyes, relief and joy flooding her chest. Earth had chosen courage over caution, trust over division. That evening, Rhea returned to Earth Command's Operations Center. The mood was electric. Engineers and translators worked side by side, preparing the Horizon, a specially modified shuttle. Its hull bore the new emblem, a ring of linked hands. Inside instruments hummed with readiness. Rhea ran her hand along the metal surface, feeling its smooth strength. In the crew quarters, Rhea met with the mission team. There was pilot Reyes, calm and focused. Biologist Dr. Zara Patel, whose eyes shone at the thought of alien life. Engineer Malik, eager to test his designs. Captain Nia Singh, disciplined and watchful. And Ilias, the AI, holographically present. Each had prepared for this moment their whole lives. Rhea looked at them and felt a surge of pride. "Tomorrow," she said, voice soft, "we cross the bridge they built. We carry our world with us, our hopes, our mistakes, our unity." She paused. "We go as friends." They shared determined smiles. In the quiet glow of the briefing room, they each reflected on what lay ahead. Zara thought of new medicines waiting to be discovered. Malik imagined the engineering marvels they would witness. Reyes rehearsed landing sequences. Nia checked emergency protocols one more time. Ilias processed final updates to the translation database. As night deepened, Rhea sat alone by a viewport. The stars stared back, ancient and silent. She whispered a promise to Earth, "I will do you proud." Her reflection merged with the cosmos. In that moment, she felt both tiny and vast, one small person, and yet the vessel for all humanities. Dreams at dawn, the horizon lifted from its platform. Families, world leaders, and millions watching live held their breath. The shuttle's engines ignited, glowing halos in the pale morning sky. Rhea, strapped into her seat, looked out at the rising sun, thinking of home-green forests, blue oceans. The laughter of children, the horizon pierced the atmosphere and broke free. In the quiet of space, Rhea felt a deep calm. The ring-shaped gateway loomed ahead through the shuttle's windshield, its mass humming with power. She exhaled slowly, heart full of wonder and determination. Approaching gateway, Reyes announced. His calm voice anchored her. Rhea touched the control panel. Steady, she replied. Let's show them who we are. Shuttle drifted toward the glowing portal. Pale light danced across the hull. The engines switched to silent mode as they entered the gateway's field. Seconds stretched like hours. Then, with a gentle shiver, the horizon passed through. On the other side, a new star filled the viewport, green and warm. Beyond it, orbiting platforms and curving landmasses. Rhea Morgan floated in the soft gravity of the alien world's observation deck, her breath catching as she looked out at a landscape unlike any on Earth. Below, bridges of living crystal arced between floating islands. Gentle waterfalls shimmered. In green-tinted sunlight, strange tall plants swayed to an unseen wind. Every sight filled her with wonder. She felt her heart swelled. This was the reward for humanity's courage. Biologist Dr. Zar Patel stepped beside Rhea, scanning the plants. Through a handheld sensor, her eyes shone. Their biology is different, but life here feels familiar, Zara said, voice soft. She pointed to a flower-like organism whose petals glowed with bioluminescence. They photosynthesize in the green light. Their chemistry could change our medicine. Zara's excitement was contagious. Rhea smiled, grateful for Zara's gentle. All engineer Malik Qureshi knelt by the viewport. Studying the floating island's support cable's vast tendrils of living metal that hummed with energy. He traced a fingertip along the glass. This material self-repairs, he said, voice hushed. It adapts to stress. Imagine what that could do for our structures. Malik's mind raced with ideas. He had always dreamed of alien tech. He felt both boyish thrill and the weight of responsibility to learn with respect. Pilot Reyes guided the shuttle down to a landing platform carved from a single piece of crystal. The translucent ground reflected their anxious faces. Reyes exhaled, relief in his tone. Smooth touchdown, he said. We're safe. The team unstrapped and stepped onto the platform. Rhea felt her boots sink slightly into the crystal's surface, like pressing into fresh snow. She smiled at Reyes. Thank you, she said simply. Captain Nia Singh gathered the team in a small clearing lined with glowing moss. She held a tablet that displayed translated phrases from Ilias. We have sent our first friendly messages, Nia said. They translate roughly as, Friends of many worlds, welcome to our home. She paused to let the words sink in. Rhea saw. Her crewmates breathed more steadily. Even Neha, trained for caution, let a small smile appear. Moments later, soft, melodic tones drifted across the clearing. The team turned. From behind a curtain of bioluminescent vines, stepped beings of graceful form. Their skin looked like polished jade, long limbs ended in delicate hands. They made no threatening moves. Instead, they bowed 3 times in slow cadence. Rhea's throat tightened. This was first contact. She remembered Omar's calm presence back home. Now she would speak for all humanity. Rhea stepped forward, hands open. She spoke a simple phrase. Ilias had prepared, We come in peace. The aliens tilted their heads, then lifted clear, glassy spheres from their chests, gifts Rhea realized, for human senses. She accepted one with gentle fingers and touched it to her ear. A warm voice spoke in perfect English. Welcome, travelers. We are the Elysians of the ring world. May our meeting be fruitful. Tears blurred Rhea's vision. One step at a time. She translated the gift to her team. Malik felt the weight of the sphere and marveled at its soft power. Zara ran it against her sensor, delight and wonder on her face. Reyes bowed his head in gratitude. Nihal looked astonished, eyes wide behind. Her helmet, Rhea held the sphere to her chest. In her mind, she heard Omar's silent cheer across the light years. The Elysians led them through winding paths of upland gardens and living bridges. Every moment Rhea took notes, a gesture here, a color there. She felt their alien hearts beat, in time with the world around them. The Elysians shared simple symbols etched on flowing water stories of their culture. Worlds joined in peace. Knowledge exchanged across the stars. Rhea felt hope ignite inside her. As the sun dipped behind twin green stars, the Elysians guided the humans to a great hall carved from living crystal. In its center, a pool shimmered with liquid light. The Elysians gestured for the humans to sit. Zara placed her data pad on the floor, Malik arranged his tools, Reyes and Nia stood respectfully. Rhea knelt at the water's edge. She spoke softly into the still air. "We are honored to stand here. Come as children eager to learn. We bring our world's stories, art, music, science, and we hope to share." The pool's surface rippled, and images formed, Earth's oceans, children's laughter, the aurora of polar skies. Zara gasped. "Ah!" The Elysians watched with gentle eyes, as if seeing humanity through uncounted ages. In that hall, under the glow of alien light, the two species forged a bond. Rhea felt tears on her cheeks. Joy and relief mingled in her chest. They had walked through a gateway meant for others and found friendship anyway. She looked at each crew member. Their faces reflected wonder, unity, and a promise. When the vision faded, Annalisian stepped forward and placed a hand on Rhea's shoulder. The gesture felt warm and real. Rhea bowed her head. In a single moment, she understood. This was the beginning of a new family among the stars. That night, Rhea lay in her sleeping pod, replaying every moment. She felt tired yet full of energy. Outside, the stars shone through the hall's crystal ceiling. She whispered into the darkness, "Thank you." Tomorrow, they would learn much more. Rand humanity's story would grow richer, because they had dared to respond to a signal not meant for them. Rhea Morgan woke to soft light filtering through the living crystal walls of the Elysian Hall. Today, the Elysians would take the human crew deeper into their world. She dressed quickly, heart fluttering with anticipation. Each day brought new wonders, and she wanted to remember them all. Outside, Captain Nia Singh waited by the shuttles. "Open hatch." She checked her gear with military precision, yet her eyes shone with excitement. "Ready?" Rhea asked. Nia nodded. "Lead the way," she said with a small smile that eased Rhea's nerves. Together, they stepped onto a bridge of glowing vines that swayed like gentle arms. Below them, valleys of floating gardens drifted on air currents. Biologist Zara Patel knelt to examine a cluster of six-petaled flowers whose petals shivered in muted blues and greens. She plucked one gently and pressed it against her sensor. "Their cells repair damage instantly," she observed. "Imagine medicine that heals as fast as a heartbeat." Zara's voice held wonder, and Rhea felt a surge of pride in her colleagues. Engineer Malik Qureshi ran his fingers along a cable of living metal beside the bridge. It hummed softly under his touch. He tapped his tablet and recorded the frequency. "This material adjusts to stress," he said, glancing up. "Moves like muscle." His mind raced at possibilities for Earth's structures. He glanced at the Elysians observing with calm interest, and he felt both humility and hope as they crossed a field of crystalline mushrooms. Pilot Reyes scanned the sky with a handheld tracker. "I'm mapping energy pockets," he explained. "These mushrooms grow only where power flows." Reyes pointed to ripples in the air, shimmering like heat haze. "That's your gateway's residual energy," he said. Rhea saw the patterns dance and felt the deep connection between this world and the ring gateway that brought them here. The group reached a clearing where Elysians gathered around a calm pool. Their leader, an elder named Illyra, stepped forward. Illyra's jade skin glowed in the green light. She held a woven basket of seeds that looked like tiny stars. Illyra offered them to the humans. Rhea accepted one, feeling its weight warm in her palm. Illyra's eyes conveyed trust and hope. Rhea bowed respectfully before tucking the seed into her uniform pocket. Suddenly, Zara gasped. The ground, as one floating island shifted, the bridges' vines quivered, and the living metal cables strained. Nia shouted, "Steady, everyone, hold on." Rhea grabbed the vine rail, heart racing. Malik pressed a control on his tablet, and the cables tightened, stabilizing the walkway. Through training and quick thinking, the team stayed safe. The tremor subsided. Rhea's chest heaved with relief. She looked at her crew. Zara's eyes were wide with awe. Malik's brow was furrowed with concern. Reyes's stance was steady. And Nia was already coordinating their retreat back to the shuttle. Even the Elysians showed alarm, their calm faces. Flickering with worry, Rhea stepped forward. "It's okay," she said softly. "We're safe." She gestured for them to continue. Illyra nodded and led the way down a carved staircase of crystal. At the bottom, the tremor had created tiny fissures in the ground. From the cracks, new tendrils of living metal pushed upward, weaving into fresh formations. Zara knelt and touched one. "Their world heals itself," she whispered. Rhea realized that the tremor was not destruction, but rebirth and expression of the world's living nature. In the shuttle's quiet cabin, the team reviewed data. Malik adjusted his sketches to include safety protocols for future tremors. Zara labeled samples. With excited precision, Reyes plotted his energy maps. Nia checked their suit integrity. Rhea recorded a final note. "This world is alive. Every part works together, growing and adapting." That night, Rhea lay beneath the shuttle's transparent roof, looking up at the alien sky. Twin green stars wheeled overhead, casting shifting shadows on the floating islands. She held Illyra's seed in her hand and thought of Earth's fields of wheat and rice. A single seed could change everything. Rhea whispered into the darkness, "Thank you for sharing your home." She closed her eyes, feeling a deep bond forming between two worlds. Somewhere, light years away, humanity's place among the stars was being written one living bridge at a time. Rhea Morgan awoke before dawn, her dreams still filled with the gentle glow of the Elysians' living world. Today she and her team would join an Elysian ritual of remembrance, a moment that honored the passage of time on their ring world. She dressed quietly, pulling on her uniform as soft light filtered through the shuttle's viewport. Her heart fluttered with both excitement and reverence. She knew the ceremony would deepen their bond with the Elysians beyond mere exploration. Outside the shuttle, the air was cool and still. Captain Nia Singh led the way down a path of softly glowing stones. Each step echoed on the crystal floor. Rhea followed, clutching the small Elysian seed she had received. She felt the seed's warmth through her fingers. Behind her, Engineer Malik and biologist Zara exchanged quiet smiles. Sharing the wonder of a world that lived and breathed around them, they reached a vast clearing under a sky painted green by the twin stars. Elysian figures stood in a wide circle, holding hands. Their jade skin shone in the early light. In the center of the circle lay a pool of liquid light that shimmered in gentle waves. The Elysians waited in silent calm. Rhea felt her chest tighten with emotion. This was more than an event. It was an act of trust that invited humans into the heart of their culture. Illyra, the Elysian elder, stepped forward and spoke in measured tones. Ilias translated softly into English, "We remember the ones who came before, whose seed brought life to this world." The circle's glow brightened as each Elysian held a small crystal shard to the pool's edge. The shards floated and formed. Images in the water, shapes of stars, seeds drifting through space, the birth of their world's rings. Rhea felt tears gather in her eyes. Rhea knelt and placed the human seed at the pool's shore. The water accepted it, ripples spreading outward until the light shimmered gold for a heartbeat. Ilias translated Ilia's words. Your seed joins our memory. Together, our futures grow. Rhea bowed her head. Around her, the Elysians brought their hands to their hearts. The humans did the same, feeling the unity of two species, woven by ritual and hope. After the ceremony, the crew and Elysians shared a meal of glowing fruit and nutrient pastes. Zara sampled the bioluminescent berries with playful delight, giggling when the fruit's glow lit her lips. Malik marveled at the bread-like substance that formed itself from pool-grown algae. Rhea sipped a sweet liquid that hinted at memories, rather than flavors. Nia watched the Elysians laugh and smile, her usual reserve giving way to genuine warmth. Rhea spoke with Illyra beneath a canopy of living vines. She asked about the gateway's builders and the purpose of their welcome. Illyra replied through Ilias, We were chosen to guard the path between worlds. Our ring was born of alliance. When we learned of your kind, we sent the call. Rhea felt wonder and humility wash over her. Humans had stumbled into a network of worlds older and wiser than they could imagine. As the sun rose higher, the humans helped plant the human seed beside Elysian seedlings. Rhea used a simple tool to dig a small hole in the soft crystal soil. Malik and Zara stood with her, touching the earth together. Rhea's fingers closed around the seed as she lowered it into the ground. The soil glowed faintly green, welcoming. The new life. Rhea pressed the soil back down and whispered, Grow well, friend. That evening, Rhea stood alone at the pool's edge, watching her seed's faint glow join the circle of young shoots. She thought of Earth's fields of wheat and rice, of forests and meadows, and felt a deep longing for home. Yet she also felt hope for the future. Here 2 worlds had become 3 Elysian, human, and the new life sprouting between them. Rhea pressed her hand to her heart, feeling her own tears fall freely. Back in the shuttle's cabin, the crew prepared to return. To the gateway, they packed samples, data pads, and gifts for Earth. Zara carefully sealed vials of glowing fruit cells. Malik stored metal samples in protective casing. Reyes charted their return path through the portal. Nehea ran final checks on their suits. Rhea loaded her recordings and photographs, her mind full of stories to tell. Before sleep, Rhea sent a message home. We carry peace, friendship, and a seed of hope. We are not alone. She ended the transmission and looked at her teams. Sleeping pods. Tomorrow, they would leave this living world, but their hearts would remain. Rhea closed her eyes, knowing that dawn would bring a new journey back through the gateway. Back to Earth, and into the chapters still unwritten for all humankind. Rhea Morgan woke before dawn in the horizon, her heart heavy with both joy and farewell. Today, they would leave the Elysian world behind and return to Earth. She dressed slowly, touching the notch in her uniform where the Elysian seed had nested. In its gentle glow, she felt the living hope of 2 worlds entwined. Captain, Nia Singh stood by the hatch, checking each instrument with calm efficiency. Ready for departure? Nia said quietly. Her eyes shone with pride and gratitude. Rhea nodded, steadying her breath. Together, they stepped onto the observation deck, where the twin green suns rose over floating islands and living bridges. The sight filled Rhea's chest with awe one last time. Inside the horizon, the team gathered for a final briefing. Zara Patel held a vial of bioluminescent flower cells. These could heal millions, she said softly, her usual scientists. Excitement tempered by the emotion of goodbye. Malik Qureshi tapped his tablet, showing samples of living metal filaments. We'll study these to strengthen Earth's structures. Reyes mapped their return course. Neha confirmed safety protocols. Rhea addressed her crew, voice calm yet warm. We carry more than data. We carry friendship, trust, and the promise of 2 species standing together. She paused, looking at each face. When we return, voices across Earth will hear our story. We must honor the Elysian's gift and show humanity's best. The team nodded, eyes shining with shared purpose. As the horizon climbed away from the Elysian landscape, Rhea watched through the viewport. Islands drifted like jewels, bridges rippled with living energy, gardens breathed beneath alien skies. Tears formed in her eyes. She pressed a hand to the glass. "Farewell, friends," she whispered, somewhere beyond the veil of light. She hoped Elysians felt her gratitude. The gateway loomed ahead, a ring of quiet power against the void. Reyes guided the shuttle toward its center, engines silent. Rhea felt a gentle hum beneath her feet as the portal's field embraced them. Then, with a soft shimmer, the horizon passed through the gateway back to human space. On the other side, the stars overhead were familiar but distant. Earth's address sat in their nav system's coordinates: 5.127, 849. Rhea felt both relief and excitement. They had crossed a chasm of 50 light years and returned with the future in their hands. She glanced at Omar's data feed, knowing he would be waiting for updates. Back at Earth Command, the horizon approached the human-built reception station. Lights blinked along its modules, welcoming them home. Families and leaders watched the live feed with rapt attention. Rhea felt her heart pound as the shuttle docked. She and her team unstrapped, uniformed ambassadors of humanity's best in the debrief hall. World leaders stood to greet them. Ambassador Lu Chen and Ambassador Mara Ortega stepped forward, faces reflecting the pride of billions. They embraced Rhea and each crew member. Rhea felt tears slip free as applause filled the room. The Elysian gift medicine materials, hope would change Earth forever. Later, Rhea stood before the UN Assembly, holding the Elysian seed sprouting tiny green shoots. She placed it in a clear terrarium on the dais. "This seed reminds us that life can grow from trust and friendship," she began. Her voice echoed in the silent chamber. "We answered a signal not meant for us, and we found a family among the stars. Let this be our guide, to reach out in peace, to learn with humility, and to build a future where no world stands alone." Outdoors, children watched holographic images of the Elysian world projected above the assembly hall. They gasped at floating gardens and living bridges, their eyes bright with wonder. Rhea smiled. The next generation would grow up knowing that humanity was not the only intelligence in the cosmos. In the months that followed, Earth scientists worked with Elysian data to develop new medicines that healed wounds overnight and materials that self-repaired. Architects studied living metal to design buildings that adapted to earthquakes. Artists wove bioluminescent threads into tapestries, creating living artwork that changed with the seasons. Rhea returned to the deep space listening station, her first home. She took Omar's place at the console and tuned into the silent hum of space. Now, every signal held promise. She thought of the Elysians, waiting patiently in their ring world. She whispered into the mic, "We remember. We are friends." Under her watch, humanity's deep space team broadcast a new message to the network of worlds, a greeting of peace in many human languages, accompanied by the image of linked hands encircling a star. Rhea watched the transmission beam into the void. Though no response came at once, she felt a calm certainty. That night, Rhea stepped outside and gazed at the sky. Stars winked like distant lanterns. She smiled up at them, remembering first contact, the living world of the Elysians, and the bond they had forged. She felt small beneath the vast heavens and immense in her capacity for hope. Rhea whispered to the night, "This is only the beginning." And in the silent cosmos, somewhere far away, a distant friend heard and listened.